Scorpio. My name is Audrey Alison, and this is your May 2014 forecast for the month. Thanks so much for tuning in with me again, and let's get to it because May is a little more mild than April was. I don't know how you're doing. I hope everyone's all right. All you Scorpios are okay. We had 2 eclipses in April, and I think that affected your relationships. And also the grand cardinal cross that we had mid-month and the Uranus-Pluto opposition. So it was tense and stressful in April. So here's to a much milder May, and I will cheers you on that. Except I have tea, and you probably have a nice glass of wine. Or a gin and tonic. Okay, so let's get into it. May 2nd, Venus, the planet of love and money, goes into Aries. This is your 6th house of health and routine and daily regimen and schedule, and also pets if you have them. So Venus, the planet of love and money, brings a sense of beautification and savings and maybe more of a bounty for you to play around with. And going into Aries, you will feel the fire and energy to maybe get a health routine back aligned or back onto the mat, onto the schedule. I feel like Scorpios maybe had to go through some sacrifices or detox or get something out of their system in the health sector. So Venus there could now be giving you all of the support that you need to move forward and feel more fulfilled in that sector, in that area. On May 7th, Mercury goes into Gemini. This will affect your 8th house. Mercury is going to make you more communicative. Mercury is the communication planet and the planet of study and writing and local travel and intellect, the mind and your thoughts. So the 8th house is sex. What are you thinking about, Scorpio? That wouldn't be so far off for you because you've always got that on the brain. But the 8th house is also shared resources. So if you're in a custody situation or legal situation or pending some kind of investment or waiting for investors to come through, Mercury going into the sign of Gemini on May 7th could really help you with this. Mercury's going to transit twice this month as well as Venus. So you have a good 21 days, 3 weeks with Mercury affecting this 8th house. You could really be getting loans if you want to apply for loans. Absolutely do so. Paperwork, filling out forms, all supported from May 7th through May 28th. So that's a very good thing. On the 14th of May, we have a full moon at 23 degrees Scorpio. This is in your 1st house. This is you. This is a full moon affecting you. This is going to be intense because that's what you are, Scorpio, and you wouldn't have it any other way. So, I feel like you're going to be you're always intuitive, but you could have a very strong psychic premonition around the time of the full moon on the 23rd or the 14th, 23 degrees Scorpio. It hits you pretty strong. You know, full moons tend to bring things to a culmination, to a head. For those of you who have just gotten out of relationships, the ones that weren't too stable, on stable ground in April, Scorpios got a little, had some shakeups in that area. This full moon might bring some healing to that. It might bring some things to your awareness. It might illuminate some things that had been secret. You know, Scorpios hiding things, keeping secrets. This might come to the forefront and be illuminated at this time. So, on May 19th, Mars, your co-ruler, as well as Pluto is, but Mars goes direct. Mars has been stationed for Libra for 7 months. Well, 5 months now. He'll be there through July 19th or so, or 23rd. So, it's just a long transit for Mars to be in this sign. And Mars has been retrograde, giving us really not a lot of energy. And this is in your 12th house. So, you could have felt that you're drained a lot easier. You're going to bed super early. Having Mars direct now in this 12th house will make your inner self, your quiet, reflective self and psychic abilities more active and more enhanced. So that will pick up, and you need energy there because 12th house is a very private spiritual house. It's your own, you know, secrets and psychic thoughts and dreams and disillusions. You need Mars going direct in that so you're not fooled or disillusioned yourself. May 20th, the sun enters Gemini, and this is in your 8th house of sex. Again, you've got a lot of 8th house activity. You know, you rule on a solar level, you rule the 8th house, Scorpio, because you're the 8th sign. So the sun illuminating this house, you're very comfortable in May with that area being exposed. You're all about it. So the sun will be highlighting any types of shared resources as well as sex. But it could be investments and inheritances, taxes, estates, properties, investments, that kind of vibe could be on the forefront and coming into the picture a lot more. On May 28th, we have a new moon in this 8th house too. It's 7 degrees Gemini. Everything's Gemini this month, and I love that because I made that sign by 1 day, or 2 minutes actually, but I'm almost a Cancer. So by 2 minutes. So anyway, the new moon will be, you've got the sun and the moon, okay? The dichotomy of those two in this 8th house. So there's action there. I feel like there's not a Scorpio around that's not going to be having some sex. Good for you. On the 28th of May, Venus goes into Taurus, makes her second transit into Taurus. So this is in your 7th house of relationships. So for those of you Scorpios who got out of one at the end of April, you're interested, your mind is interested in another one. And it could be something that you've been thinking about because the 12th house is activated and the 8th house, which are the two most secretive houses. So this could be something that you've just can't get out of your mind, or it's been on your mind, and then it manifests into a relationship, or you take the step to initiate that relationship on the 28th of May. And Venus, the planet of love and support, going into the 7th house of love, that's such a beautiful transit. So anybody looking for a relationship at that time would have a lot of luck with that and support with that at the end of May and through half of June. So, May 29th, Mercury makes his second transit into Cancer, a compatible water sign for you. And this will activate your 9th house of faraway travel. So what could happen? Oh, that's interesting. The 7th house is activated for relationships the day before when Venus goes into your 7th house of relationships. And those of you who aren't in relationships, this could be business partnerships, but it could also be that there's one coming in for you, a new relationship. But then the day later, when Mercury goes into Cancer, it affects your 9th house, you could have to travel to see this person, faraway places. So the 7th, 8th, and 9th house, forget about it. All hitting. So this person could live at afar, or you're mentally thinking. Mercury is thoughts, intellect, mind. Going into the 9th house as you're thinking of places far away. So you could be implementing trips and making plans to go to that lover, or go on a trip with a lover. Or your spouse if you're married. I don't want to neglect the married folks out there. It's so easy to give the forecast depending on how you are, how you stand in the world. And for those of us who aren't in relationships, it's just so easy to say, you know, to read it as a single person would read it. But anyway, I think that you have huge chance for establishing a relationship if you want one, because the energy really supports it. Let me pull the cards and see what's up with that for you too. And I also have my astrological deck. I'm also pulling a couple cards like I would do a mini reading instead of just one random card here and there. I felt like I wanted to do that in this forecast. So I'll tell you what they all are and show you the cards. Okay, so the first one I have is the 5 of Coins, the Beggar, something is missing. I'll get into what all this means in a minute. The 4 of Swords, the Thinker, someone you're thinking about, some stuff. Meditation, quiet thoughts, getting this thought in your mind. The 8 of Swords, the Beast. We'll get into that. And then the 8 of Wands, the Woodcutter, Sacrifice. Okay, so how I would interpret all these together. I think Scorpios, like I said earlier, have gotten rid of something. You have cut the beast out of your life. The beast could be you as well, working out or getting that 6th house of health and routine together, workout routine regimen. But you've cut something out of your life, and for the betterment of yourself. You've also knew what it was. You're thinking you're missing something. You either miss someone, or you feel like you've missed an opportunity. But, you know, I don't think you have. I think that you'd be a little bit more surprised than you think if you just take the action. Now that Mars is direct, take the action to, whether it's communicate or feel what it is you're feeling. You'll have success in May to get this going and to get this out of your system. I think that your thoughts and psychic ability are very active with your 12th house, with Mars there, and there for quite some time. Your astrological card I'm going to pull for you. See what it says. Mercury. That rules Gemini. Mercury is the messenger, and Mercury's transiting twice into Gemini and then to Cancer. So you might have to communicate. Your thoughts. You might study. You might travel locally in May more than you have in previous months. You are very agile in the mind too, Scorpio. You're ahead of the game. I think that you're advanced on a mental level, and you almost know what people are thinking in May. It seems like it's a very illuminated psychic month for you. So that's a good thing. My name is Audrey Alison, and if you'd like to book with me, I am at audreyallison.com, and you can also reach me on Facebook at Audrey Allison Astrology and Tarot. Thanks so much. I appreciate the support. And in May, I might be doing these scopes from New Jersey. You never know. Okay, I'll talk to you soon, and I'll see you in June.